Hello, hello. Is this thing on? Maybe, maybe. Let's see here. How do I get this to trying to get the camera to go on top? Testing, 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 testing the audio. I want to start doing these streams before jujitsu class, but for some reason the camera's not showing up. Oh, that's not it. Yeah, why isn't this showing up? Okay, let's do this. Let's delete this. And let's add a new one. Game. Yes, it is video capture. Yes, 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 yes. There we go. Now let me check this out. I see my own stream. Yes, yes, yes. I don't know. It's kind of a compound thing. Again, I am testing this. My goal is to start streaming. Um, Not like becoming a streamer, but I want to stream before class because this is usually around the time that I study, maybe like 30 to an hour before this. And I'm hitting up the gym. I'm coming home. I'm thinking about jujitsu. I'm studying, and I'm going through things. So it shows that I'm live. Um, so anyway, I'm doing a bunch of research. Let me know if something is messed up or wrong. I hope that the stream's working. I'll try to make this into a video afterwards with some editing. But here's a good example. Stuff I've been thinking about. Stuff I've been thinking about. Stuff I've been doing. I've been thinking a lot about single leg X. So um, oh yeah, I want this on the screen. How do I keep the chat? What the heck? I have to sign into my own chat. Well, I'm on my laptop right now, so I don't have a secondary screen for this. So I don't really know how the chat thing works. Like if people ask questions. It showed the chat when I had the OBS, the streaming software up, but then it didn't show the chat when why am I retarded? Hmm? Hmm. Yeah, it had the chat when I had OBS up right here, but then it didn't have the chat when I pulled up the YouTube, which obviously it'd be better if I had a split screen and drag the chat over to the side. But oh well. So, anyways, I've been studying single leg X. A couple people, just a little higher. A couple people I've been watching. Um, Tynan Dalbra. So I used to play single leg X a lot when I was a lower belt. Let me mute this bad boy. I used to play single leg X a lot when I was a lower belt, and I think what something that changed my view. I hope he does it on this one, otherwise I'm pulling up a random video. None of this is pre-thought out. I'm just going through what I'm going to be thinking about. So um, I used to just play shin to shin. I'd play seated guard, shin to shin, and try to get into single leg X to do leg locks, sweeps, wrestle ups. And then I started watching Tynan do what Tynan does. And he would go from De La Hiva, and just like that, he just did it. So I'm really glad this worked out like that. Otherwise, that would have been awkward. Um, he's in De La Hiva. He has a collar. He pulls on the collar, kicks him in the butt, and then he pummels inside to single leg X. This is one of my favorite ways to enter single leg X right here. When I'm in the gi, you pull guard, you end up in De La Riva because it's easy. If they go to their knees, you go to close guard. If they stay standing, you go to De La Riva. You make a collar grip, and then you put your foot on the mat. You release the De La Riva hook here, and you put your foot on the mat. So right here, boom, he put his foot on the mat briefly to stomp right into the base of the thigh, right in the butt, and you pull with the collar. So you stomp on the ground, pull with the collar, kick them in the ass, and you bring them forward. As you lift their leg off the mat like this, you pummel inside to regular single leg X. Let's see if Tynan does it here. Again, I haven't seen this clip, or maybe I've seen the clip a long time ago, but it's something I've been trying to think about. Tynan always plays single leg X with his foot up on the shoulder. So play this a little bit. And now they're going to do a breakdown of it. You douchebags. I was doing the breakdown, not them. Well, here's a good example. When he faces Andy Murasaki, I've kind of seen these matches before. Well, not kind of, I have seen them before. But Tynan finds his way to off-balance people to get into single leg X, and then he works the foot up onto his shoulder, bazooka grip, shotgun grip, whatever you want to call it. So here he's looking for single leg, or he's looking for like leg entanglement somehow, grabbing the legs. He's got that cross collar grip, and then right here he pulls himself and he wraps the leg, kind of like a K guard, almost like you're doing the Matrix back take in the K guard. But he squares up with him and he ends up in regular single leg X. And then immediately, look, he already did it. He did it so fast. He already did that shit. So, kind of like an open guard De La Riva-ish, kind of K guard. He has the collar. He shoots his leg all the way through, and then he puts his foot on the hip, and immediately he starts scooping. I do need to figure out how to get this chat shit going. That does kind of suck. Um, I have some crazy shit going. Managing chat. Well, no one's in here, so we're chilling anyways. I'll figure out how to do this later. Hopefully it's not too bad. So he gets into single leg X and immediately he pummels his arm underneath the ankle here, right, bicep deep, and then he gets what I call the bazooka grip, where he lifts his elbow into the sky while he grabs the knee slash shin, and he kind of like holds the leg with his ear. So if you see him, he kind of like his elbow kind of tilts upwards, like he like flares his elbow, and then his ear catches, and then he grabs the leg at the same time. So this like traps the foot up high on the shoulder. This is also how arm crushes work. If you ever do an arm crush or raise your arm bar, I've heard it called a lot of things, but when you want to like crush the arm, initially you can kind of like flare your elbow into the sky and catch the foot here. Tynan does this exact sequence a lot. He didn't specifically use the De La Riva part against Andy Murasaki here, but he was in open guard, he went to De La Riva, and then he pulled himself underneath after he did some type of off balancing, like he did in that first clip, the YouTube short that I showed. And then once he gets here, um, he scoops under the ankle as quickly as he can. He flares his elbow to the sky after he scoops underneath. He scoops, he flares his elbow, he lifts his arm, and he grabs the pant leg or the knee. And then immediately he's in this like single leg X that's deep. And then Tynan, this is the part that I wanted to study before I went to jiu-jitsu, because it's a position I don't play, is you play single leg X and you pull your bottom foot out, and then you grab, or single leg X with the foot on the shoulder, so the bazooka grip, and then you pull the leg that's inside the partner's legs, inside his hips. He already pulled it out here. So he's already in the position because he does it so fast. He's scooping the far leg, and he has his leg around the thigh of his far side here. And this is the part that I wanted to research slash study, whatever you want to call it. They end up here. I said it before in one of my videos, but sometimes I'll sit and just watch matches, but a lot of times, like, not a lot's happening. They're both readjusting grips and balance. And then once the action happens, I'll back up a couple times. Let's see how he finishes his waiter sweep. Dumps him forward. Nice. So it looks like he kind of bumps him overhead and then switches. So he extends backwards and then pivots on his lower back, twisting his hips or his upper back. Sorry. So he does an initial bump forward. So De La Riva, single leg X, bazooka grip. Once you get to the bazooka grip, you pull your single leg X leg out, and you're reaching under the far leg like you're going to do a waiter sweep, but he still holds the collar here with this inside grip, which is interesting. Um, and it looks like he tries to bump him diagonally backwards, and that's what gets him off balance enough to pivot. And then I'm assuming he's changing this thigh, like he's got his left, yeah, his left leg here. I'm assuming he's going to bring it to this side and do like more of a traditional waiter sweep. But let's see. So he bumped. He cut the angle, but I don't think his leg pivoted to the other thigh. Okay, so he keeps his leg on that far thigh, and then he stands up. Interesting. Interestingly enough, too, Andy's in the same position. If they were both like a mirror of each other, if Tynan was facing himself, I'm assuming he would scoop under the leg right here. Oh, Tynan's already under this leg. I wonder how that works with that. He might have to break that grip because he's already in like a double leg underpass. But if not, his foot would already be ready on that far hip, and he could immediately enter the same waiter position that Tynan's in here. See how we're here, and then we're here. So yeah, so Andy's got his hand posted there on the mat. So I don't think Andy would be able to do it to Tynan because Tynan's already under the leg, getting ready to do this like heavy double under leg drag position. Interesting, interesting. Hmm. Again, this is the stuff that I think about before jujitsu, before night classes. So I just wanted to try to, um, I just wanted to try to, maybe I could pull up the stream on my phone, but I wanted to try to, oh, I didn't even see that. Hello, how are you? What are you going to do? Do you teach kids? I cause a crime here. Well, now I've got the chat up on my phone. Um, I do not teach kids because I curse too much. I probably should, and I should stop being a baby about it. I help kids. Kids ask me questions, but I don't teach any of the kids' classes. The kids' classes are happening right now, and I've got to leave in around 30 minutes before. But I just wanted to go through what some of my thoughts were on this whole single leg X. And this is something I've been working on. I play single leg X, I play De La Hiva, but I don't really play this like weird combination into the waiter sweep like Tynan does. And I play the waiter guard, but I don't enter it from here. I enter it from deep half and there's another entry I use from De La Hiva, but I've never used it from the single leg X to this. But I know this is more of an advanced study thing. You said the question was, do you teach kids, or is there another question? If it's just the do you teach kids, then no, I do not, because I'm 22-year-old. 7-year-old girl for real, bro. I cause a crime here. Well, yeah, it's cool though. Tynan gets it. Andy wrestles up again. I'm trying to think about single leg X, so even though this is a dope match to watch, I think Tynan goes down or pulls guard again and hits him with the exact same sweep later in the match. Or he took a shot and wrestled. Very cool. Going through, going through, going through. I think they stand again eventually. I believe it's the exact same sequence. And this is what I'm going to try to focus on doing tonight when I get to class. Look at this. He entered the exact same position. Did he enter from De La Hiva? Oh no, he's in kind of a butterfly guard. Yeah, he's in a butterfly with a pant leg. Interesting. So he uses the butterfly grips to pull the leg towards him to force single leg X in this one. Usually he does it from De La Hiva, but this one, and then I'm assuming he puts the foot up and he's going to scoop under the ankle now. Yep, there's the scoop. There's the flare. Oh wow, he's already in the waiter guard from here. Sick, dude. So once he scoops, he doesn't hold onto the foot like I usually do. Oh, I see. My camera's kind of blocking, yeah, actual footage a little bit. Beautiful, man. Beautiful, beautiful. Let's see if that camera adjustment is better for the theater mode. Yeah, it looks a little better. So, butterfly pulls the foot towards him, scoops the leg. He goes elbow deep on the ankle, and he immediately reaches and grabs on the gi. That's not something I do either. Reaches and grabs the gi. Wow. And he starts rocking, using that leg to swing like a pendulum for this waiter sweep style. Single leg X to the foot on the far side. How did he get the foot out? I didn't even see that. So right here, his right leg pummels underneath for single leg X. His left foot pops out immediately. It does. Wow, that's crazy. So rather than going one inside, he pulls both out. I've never done this before. Very interesting. So shin to shin, one pant grip, one collar grip. Both feet come out. One goes underneath, one goes in front, and then he scoops the leg to grab the lapel. Grabs the lapel, starts inverting with that pendulum kicks, and then he kicks with both legs to dump him forward with that big waiter. Wow. Fascinating. Fascinating, fascinating. Well, let me go through some other single leg X stuff. I just knew that that was something specifically I wanted to go over. Let's go over some sweeps, huh? Do I want to watch any of these? Let's go over actually Bird. Um, Bird Wiltse. I know he has good single leg X. I hope the stream thing's going okay. When I post this as a video, if people could give me comments about what they would like to see, maybe I should hide this. I don't even remember how to hide this, but I should hide the thing on the base of my computer to make this a little better. If I'm always going to be watching in theater mode, I wonder if it would be good to intentionally like zoom in so that stuff wasn't doing whatever. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you want to see something specifically. But I know Bird Wiltse's got an interesting single leg X style. Pulls himself underneath, both feet on the hips, looking over the shoulder. Yeah, it's wild. So I know Bird Wiltse. So instead of doing the traditional single leg X, where one foot's on the inside, he brings both feet out and just puts the feet on the hips and just diagonally bridges over his shoulder to sweep people, and then he's already in the belly down ankle lock. It's pretty dope. And, so now to think about this from a studying perspective, I'm leaving for class in like 20 something minutes. I'm teaching something that's not single leg X, but it's what's been on my mind, so it's what I wanted to study. Um, I'll talk briefly about shin to shin today and wrestling up and wrestling, but I looked at Tainan Dalpras. I looked at Tainan Dalpras' last match against Andy Murasaki, and he got to the one of the times it was De La Hiva to De La Hiva to single leg X to the bazooka grip to the waiter sweep, and the other time he went double butterflies to basically pulling himself underneath to single leg X to the bazooka grip to the waiter sweep. So both times Tynan found the same position. Um, both times he didn't hold the leg like I do, like this, so he reached up and grabbed the lapel. So today I'm going to look, when I'm sparring, I'm going to look for single leg X. I'm going to look to scoop under the ankle, and then I'm going to look to release the ankle itself and reach all the way up until I can grab that high lapel there. And then just something I haven't done in a long time was the bird weltsy variation, especially if you're smaller and shorter. I know this is a lot easier. Sometimes it's hard for me to get my leg out because I'm a big tree because I'm tall. But you take both feet out and put both feet on the hips, and you just bridge over your shoulder to sweep them. And then lastly, now I'm going to look at some um, I guess some entries to the position. And usually, obviously, I play with the volume on in these videos, which I guess I technically can do. I shouldn't want to be too loud. And I didn't want my desktop to be picking up stuff, so hopefully it's not. Yeah. And this is an example of like, this is exactly what I do. I go shin to shin. Somehow I block the far side, the far leg. Usually I like to use my inside leg to kind of kick behind the knee or kick the thigh here. And then, hey man, hello, Oshwaz. Um, just going over some studying stuff, going through single leg X. First time on this lab, I've been working on a lockdown for some weeks. Could you do a video on that subject someday? Yesterday I was struggling with a bigger opponent, as in getting out of the lockdown, or as in the bigger opponent put you in the lockdown, or like you were using it on a bigger guy, or the bigger guy was using it on you. Um, but anyway, I got the Tandem Doppler thing. I got this, and this is a good example of something I already do. So this is like verbatim what Lachlan Giles does. Like, and this is what I do also. So a lot of times when I'm studying, is I'll know that this is the same thing that I do, so I'll just like buzz over this and I'll skip right past. Um, but he elevates, pulls the foot in, doesn't want to get knee cut. But I can totally make a. You struggle to move him. Yeah, I think I will make a lockdown video. I think something that I've been teaching a lot of the guys lately is um, when you're when you're in the lockdown and when you're doing leg locks, like heel hook for the honey hole or anything else like that, you need to find cross lat posts. So let me see real quick if I can show you this. Gordon Ryan shows this, and I've used it a lot when oh gosh no, um, not workout stuff. I use this a lot when I'm doing the lockdown, and it's a great way to redirect people's weight. So Danaher's not really doing it here that we can see in the video. I was just pointing at the screen like you can see my hand. He's not really doing it in here, but if his hand moved up to the armpit, when I play the lockdown, I like to try to find my hand in front of my partner's chest between me and him, and then I reach for their lat, like their armpit on the far side, and I grab it. And then rather than trying to like use just my legs to extend him to try to like whip him over or whatever, I like to grab the cross lat post and then I post inside of his kneecap, and then I can extend and then I can elevate. And when they try to put weight on you, that cross lat post can kind of guide them diagonally over the corner. Um, Brandon McCaffrey from 10th Planet said you need to move right and left, but it was super difficult with him being strong. Thanks for the time you take it. Yeah, 100%. So this is a great example. You said Brandon McCaffrey is said moving left and right to try to get out of this. So what happens is when you find that cross lat post, when people drive into you, your elbow kind of naturally rests on their chest and their neck. They want to crush you and put all their weight onto you. So what ends up happening is when you're when you find the cross lat post, if I have the lockdown on the left side of my body, my left arm is cross lat posting, and then I reach for the leg. And then what happens is as they drive onto you, your lat post guides them over. They want to flatten you out, but when your elbow is pointing at their neck as they drive into you, you can kind of redirect all their weight sideways, diagonally, whatever you want to call it. And and I'll go and I'll elevate people. Okay, oh, okay, so you don't use it to gain the underhook. You totally can. It depends on what you're trying to do with your lockdown. If you're using the lockdown to stall and fight for the underhook, then your goal should be to basically John Wayne sweep people aggressively, trying to sweep them with an overhook, where you do a little pinch overhook and you try to sweep them, and as they post out a little bit, you pummel for your underhook. But then if you're fighting for underhooks, you should bail out of the lockdown um, and like start wrestling up from half guard. You can do the underhook and the leg dive, but when you lock down people, usually the reason is because they've already beaten you on the underhook. So what I'll do is people beat me on the underhook, I'll lock them down, and then I'll fight my hand in front of the chest for the cross lat post, and I'll try to elevate them to put them in the electric chair or do the electric chair sweep or the plan B sweep or whatever. Traditionally, when I'm able to win an underhook, I wrestle. If I get an underhook, I wrestle up. So it's a preference thing. But personally, I like to fight for my underhook, and then I'll release the lockdown. I'll start raking the foot out, and I'll start wrestling, and then you can go for plan B sweeps from there or whatever. But most people that I fight, as a black belt, when I get into other black belts guard and I win an underhook, they lock me down because I won as the top person. They don't lock me down because they have an underhook on bottom. If you have an underhook on bottom, it should already be like a boom, case in point. They should already be done. Like you should be wrestling, you should be fighting to get up, you should be fighting to dive underneath them for deep half or whatever it may be. But at least personally, the number one time I see people enter the lockdown is because the person on top won the underhook. They use it to stall and they use it to fight back either for their underhook and then they bail, or they use it how I usually use it, which is cross lat posting and guiding them to the far side of the body. And now immediately we're into that crotch splitter or that whole position. Super interesting. I thought I should to the lockdown to get to the underhook from the side of the lockdown. Yeah, and that's fine. But like once you have the underhook, what are you doing? Like when you're in the lockdown, are you like are you going to dive underneath anyways? Because if you are, you need to load them diagonally. And this is why I like using that cross lat post because rather than underhooking them and then trying to hug their leg and then they flatten me out and then all their fat weight just like sits on your face, I like to sit up. As I'm diving under the far leg, I grab that cross lat. When they put weight on me, this is used to just redirect their weight straight to the side. You can also use cross collar grips if you've already made space and backed them away. You can cross collar and almost treat it like you're like collar dragging somebody from standing, where you try to collar drag them diagonally as you scoop under the leg, and now they're up, and now you're going again for your little electric chair banana split position. Um, but yeah, traditionally, I see most people once they win the underhook from the lockdown is they let it go, or if they've already won the underhook, like there's no question to be had. And I think that because most people on top know the battle is the underhook, sometimes it's easier to just take that little cross lat position and not fight for the underhook. Because if your opponent knows what you're going for and then you go for it, if they're better than you, you'll always be shut down. So rather than fighting for that underhook, which is what everyone fights for in half guard, is you fight for that cross lat and you fight to get under the leg and you elevate left and right by with using that extension. Yeah, that's the problem when I get my underhook, I get obsessed to go left and right, and then I just get a fuzzy. Yeah, exactly. See, a lot of people get to that underhook position, and then they either blank out or they hold the lockdown with the underhook, and then they don't do anything. So it's kind of like a stagnant, like nothing's happening, beep boop, um, type position. But I mean, I'll still make a video showing it. But yeah, I think cross lat posting. It changed my leg lock game when I started doing it when I learned it from Gordon Ryan, and then it changed my lockdown game because it's so nice having that preemptive like super frame, and then as they drive into you, you just guide them over. As I reach for the leg from the lockdown or for leg locks going into the honey hole or whatever, this easily just helps me just kind of push them off to the side, and then you'll go. I'll try the last cross lat post thing, but everyone, yeah, yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's one of my favorite things to do. Cross lat posting people. I know. I'm trying to think if there's a specific video I have of somebody that I can think of that does that, but I didn't come up with that. I was watching somebody else who was a 10th Planet guy who played the lockdown, and that was how he initially entered the lockdown into the electric chair position. He didn't fight for the underhook and then dive under the leg to enter the electric chair. He just had like double frames, and when he dove on the leg, that one frame stayed up as that cross lat, and then he just guided him over. Um, but I know even in this video with John Danaher, let's see if there's a moment where he shows the posts leg cross ashigarami. I don't know if he actually shows it here. I don't think he is showing it, but I'll use a cross lat post also from traditional butterfly guard. Okay, so he's showing it when they step up. So um, I'll use it from butterfly when I'm in regular butterfly, and I'll have like double underhooks or double overhooks, and I'll pull someone on top of me. And if I want to go to the honey hole, what you do is you do a cross lat post and an inside knee post, and then you pull them and twist them over your head, and then you drop them into the honey hole. And very similarly, the whole point of the cross lat is to kind of rotate and keep their weight off of you. And super similar from the lockdown. My whole goal is to rotate and keep the weight off of me. So then you go into the position. I'm surprised that when I searched cross lat post, it didn't come up with what I was thinking of, but I mean, it is what it is. You can see other videos of people doing it, and like I said, I think I was watching a Gordon Ryan leg lock instructional, and he was always talking about that. Like when he goes to enter the honey hole, he likes to do that cross lat post. So, but it's pretty interesting. I think it's a good addition to the game. We've got about another 15 minutes before I got to head out. So no risk the top guy. No risk the top guy posts with the free leg. No risk the top guy posts. Top guy posts with the free leg. What do you mean the top guy posts with the free leg? Because technically, like cat's at the door. Technically, you're locking down on the left side of your body most of the time. On the left side of your body, your left arm is across lat post, and your right arm is diving under the leg. So no risk. The top guy posts with the free leg. Like where is he posting his leg? If he steps up on his leg, you're going to dive underneath and go to the electric chair anyways. Um, yeah. Like I said earlier, I looked up the Tynan Dalper thing. I know I'm ADHD and I bounce around a lot. I looked up the Tynan Dalper entry. He did one from De La Hiva, one from Shin to Shin. So that's something I'm going to think about today when I spar. Is that I looked up the video, and then today when I spar, two ways to enter the single leg X position, and one is the De La Hiva, one is the regular double butterfly hooks, pull the leg into shin to shin, and then from there he scoops and goes bicep deep, and he flares his elbow, and he grabs the lapel and he pulls his inside foot out to enter more of a waiter guard position. And then, so now I have two things in my mind for the single leg X part. For that part, if I get to regular single leg X and I want to sweep, I'm going to try to do what I looked up earlier, which is the Bird Welty sweep. And now I'm pretty sure I'm going to go from single leg X to X, um, and see if I can find a good transition from one to the other. I already do a kick in the butt. Okay, yeah, if I scoop his leg, it's not possible for him to post. Yeah, exactly. Um, let's see if these guys do anything different than I do. But every single time I study, I don't like to just watch videos like oh, that was single leg action butterfly. I don't like to watch the video. That took me like 5 seconds to run through. Um, it took me like 5 seconds to run through that video to know that I do everything in it. Man, I discovered you some months ago with your Unhinged Rules Excellent channel. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. Oh man, 100%. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I know. I had some people complaining about those videos in person because they're like, my kids watched it. And I was like, fuck, my bad, dude. But I curse a lot. I said not safe for kids when I hit the button. Yeah, if you ever have any questions, let me know. Like I said, I'm going to start trying to do these probably earlier than this, but these little like live streams before, trying to show my thought process. Like I studied Tynan Dalpra, I got his stuff, and then I moved over and I found like Bird Wiltsey and his. So now I have two things that I don't do that I can work on. And now I'm moving over to, I know I pulled up De La Hiva to single leg X, but now I'm going to shift over again to, single leg X to X. So today when I get to the position or I'm in guard, I'm going to be looking for single leg X, whether it's from shin to shin or De La Hiva. I'm going to be trying to scoop the leg onto my shoulder to play the waiter guard position where I scoop the leg and grab the lapel. And then also, um, um, oh yeah, I'm going to be looking for some more stuff on single leg X to X. But this is what I do every time before I go to jiu-jitsu. I try to find a topic that I want to know about. I watch a video and I try to skim through it as quickly as I can because I want to see if they physically do anything that I don't, and if I pick something up that they do that I don't, then I'll try to implement it or test it. Maybe it won't work for me, maybe it will. But I'll always try to go in with like 3 or 4 different like goals rather than watching a random video and just being like, oh, okay, that's a cool detail. Yeah, I'll try that next time. And then going to class, I always try to have like a full scope of what I'm trying to do for the whole thing. So I have the entries, I have the regular single leg X sweep. This is another daily Hebita single leg X video, but I'm going to look up single leg X to X. So I'm going to have like entries, a sweep, the waiter sweep, the bird wilty sweep, and then also some transitions from single leg X guard to X, because I already do some of those things, but now I'm going to like try to intentionally train to like redo the exact same thing. Um, but yeah, that's how I like to think. That's how I like to try to go about it. Every time I look down, I'm trying to look at chat because I have that pulled up on my phone. So sorry if it seems like I'm doing this, but again, I'm gonna look up single leg X to X, but yeah, see off balance kick into single leg X. So this is exactly what Tynan does. So he has a collar grip. Tynan does a cross collar. He extends both feet overhead as he pulls up on the foot, and then while the foot's in the air, so he doesn't scoop right here. He pummels the foot first, and then he scoops. Sometimes I'll do one or the other. But this is a good example. This is something I already do. It's a great sweep, great setup, and then now he's talking about it and talking about a bunch of key details. But this is something I already do, so I don't really need to sit here and watch this entire video going through the whole thing. He likes to, something to note though, he likes to extend and kind of cross his feet really tight. See how he's crossing his feet, and then you keep moving up. It's fine. So I'll cross my feet too. I made the Brazilian dick kick video, and it talks about trying to cross your feet like under their groin, like stomp upwards to elevate people. But yeah, it looks like this is something I already do. So single leg X to X guard. I gotta head out in a couple minutes. And before I even look at any of these videos, the main way that I transition from single leg X to X, I don't think you can just take your foot off the hip and then put it into X guard. I think uh, I think you have to actually do a real like off balancing setup to get to X guard against good people. I don't think it's realistic to just take your foot like out of like off the hip and then just pummel it inside. I think you have to kick him in the butt while you stomp the ground. So hopefully somebody's doing or talking about this. But again, a lot of times I would have the volume on, but I'm trying to like talk about what my thought process is. Yeah, see this I don't like to do. He just opened his leg from single leg X, put his shin behind the far knee, and then took the foot off the hip and pummeled it inside. Anyone good, the second you take the foot off the hip, they're going to hit a huge back step and they're going to pummel out of this. Again, I'm not listening to what they're saying. He could just be talking about the position, but this is physically what you're going to be doing with your feet at the end, but you need to have some type of off balance. So right here, from single leg X, what I usually do is I reach up with my hand and I grab this cross collar, and then I put my foot on the mat and I pull the cross collar and I stomp the ground and I pull them forward. And as they're falling, I transition into X guard and then I get ready to wrestle. So again, if there's anything special, I just skip through. Now he's showing what he does where he's scooping. Remember I talked about with Tynan Dalpra? Scoop. He reaches his whole arm straight up. That's fine. It's a good way to show it. I usually just flare my elbow as I cup, but reaching the whole arm is fine. He does this not wrong, but not how I like to do it. See, he's just pushing at the knee. I X my feet directly under people's groin now. I try to sandwich their nuts with my feet, and I try to kick as high as I can. Again, Brazilian dick kick video. Um, it's a great sequence. But instead of doing this, because when people do this to me, I'm 6'4". When people do this part to me right here, where they just extend their feet, I'm able to backstep them. I'm able to stuff one of their feet or pull one of their feet forward and hit a backstep with my right leg because they're just pushing on my knee. And I feel like I have a lot of like mobility with my hips still. But if he retracted his right knee to his chest and then pulled his left foot up and then crossed his ankles right under your groin and kicked upwards, you can't backstep because there's no room to step over because you can't step over like your own groin basically. And yeah, right here, like hands on the mat, people would be stuffing feet, backstepping, doing all that. So not a variation I would use, but this is a very basic video. This is a good example of like the basics being adjusted. He's in regular single leg X. He's just pulling his foot out. Even right there, look at that. He struggled to put his foot inside, doing a slow demonstration. Look at that. He even struggled right there. So if he would put his right foot on the ground, reaching for a cross collar with his left hand, right foot right there, instead of going between or trying to go between, because that'd be really hard, you stomp on the ground, you reach for a cross collar, you pull him forward, you kick him in the ass. Your hand should be pulling and your foot should be stomping at the same time, so it should be like a snap, a real quick pop. And as you pop, they're falling forward. In their fall, you transition to your X guard, and again, Brazilian dick kick. Look at this. He's even struggling to turn the knee out right here. Again, the foot and the groin is such a good detail. Um, if you want to elevate people, you should be pulling your knee to your chest as high as you can get it, and then jamming your knee behind your shin and your knee behind their knee, rather than him having to reach over and grab the knee itself and help twist it. I would still be on this cross collar grip with my left hand here. But again, this is a basics video, I can tell. Took him forever to get the guy's hands down to the mat. Sheesh. But so I didn't really find a new transition. I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom and head out to jiu-jitsu in a sec here. So I didn't really find a new transition, but overall, a lot of random talking. I answered a little bit of stuff from the chat. This was my first attempted stream video that I'm going to make into a YouTube video. I'm going to try not to bounce around mentally so much with my ADHD, but um, what I would like to do is try to do every single one of these videos and kind of break down my thought process of, like, I had a concept, single leg X. I looked up a match with Tynan Dolper where I kind of knew he was going to do something cool here, um, where he went from De La Hiva to single leg X to waiter, and then he did it from shin to shin to single leg X to waiter. He did it twice against Andy Murasaki, which is crazy because Andy's a fucking beast. So there's something to that technique if he's able to do it twice to the same person in the same match, which is crazy. So single leg X to waiter, that's going to be one of my focuses tonight when I leave soon. And then if I get the regular single leg X and I just want to sweep, I'm going to put both feet on the hips like Bird Wiltsey, like I showed in the video, uh, and just bridge over my shoulder and sweep them. And then I'm going to do my regular single leg X to X guard transitions if I feel like wrestling up or transitioning to X guard, or like going to the crab ride and chasing the back. But next time I study single leg X stuff, I'm going to try to find some new options from there. I spent the majority of the little stream video figuring out the how stuff worked and all that jazz. So anyway, leave a comment if you want to see something different. I don't know how the camera exactly looks. I've kind of got the stream up and it sort of looks like that. I can kind of see it on my phone a little bit, and I don't know if I should make the camera bigger or try to take the base of the video out or whatever it may be. But I wanted to try to get some of this info out, like how I study, and then if anyone ever has any questions during my studying, I would just answer them real quick, and I'll make that lockdown video for you, brother. So anyway, it's 5:37, and I've got to head out. So thanks, guys. I'll see you next time.